So your first job, 133 what did you do, and did it actually shape you? What did I learn from mine? I used to sell the evening or the afternoon Herald at Camberwell Junction. So I'd go down on my bike, get 60 to 80 papers from the local newsagent, walk down to my allotted street, Riversdale Road or Camberwell Road. And when the cars pulled up at the lights, there might be dozens of them, you'd walk in between the two lanes of cars yelling out Herald and try and sell the paper. Now, what I learned is that people are lazy. One is, they like to have the paper brought to the window of their car. Two, when the paper was 15 cents, people would just give you 20 and say, keep the change. But the problem was when the paper went to 20 cents, they wouldn't give you an extra 5. So our tips went from quite a lot by the standards of the time to virtually nothing when the Herald increased its cover price. I wouldn't say it defined who I was, but it certainly taught me that, if you want your own money, then you understand that work equals money. That the money isn't just a free thing that appears. You have to work for it. Our next guest is a career development practitioner, Sue Elson. Good morning.
Hi, Tom.
Well, do you remember your first job?
Absolutely. Apart from babysitting, I started my career 6 days after my last Year 12 exam at Westpac as a career recruit.
Oh.
And I spent the next 11 years there. So, yeah.
So no university. You went straight from high school to Westpac Bank?
Well, I did. But as part of being a career recruit, they actually said I had to do study. So I started studying part-time while I was working full-time. And that was at TAFE, and I hated it. I did 8 subjects before I actually moved to a degree. And I did my entire degree by correspondence from the age of 26 as a mature age student.
That's interesting, because I remember when I was at university, we'd have lectures in the morning, but then in the evening they'd repeat the lectures, and there'd be all these 18 and 19-year-olds but wearing suits and ties, and they'd gone straight into the workforce, but again, were studying part-time, studying in the evenings, and I thought, wow, that's pretty devoted of them.
Yeah, it's a full-on load, but I really am very grateful for it. And since I've finished my degree, I've just continued going to heaps of events every week ever since. So the learning process never actually ends. But, yeah, your first job can make a huge difference. My dad worked in the airline industry, and I just learned by osmosis all things to do with airlines, because they're the conversations you have around the dinner table, on holidays, everything. You learn heaps of things from your first job.
Do you have any insights into why Rex suddenly has gone into administration?
I would say they tried to pick up the big routes, and that was obviously too much competition for them, and they've probably overspent trying to capture that end.
I have a teenage daughter, and she has told me this coming summer she wants to get a job, she wants to work. I think that's great. She's 14 going on 15, but she still thinks about it purely in terms of money. Oh, if I get paid, $18 an hour, and I work for 5 hours, I've got $90. We haven't explained the issue of tax and that sort of thing.
No.
So it's not so much the work she does, it's just how much money she can make.
Well, I think that's obviously going to be influenced by a number of factors. I mean, if she hasn't had a little potty of pocket money, then obviously she's going to value that money in the first instance. But over time, she's obviously going to realise that that job's not necessarily for life. And then she'll need to explore other options. And the sad part is a lot of people just go on the well-meaning advice of friends and family, and they don't necessarily get professional career advice, either at school or at university or just generally as part of their career, because the skills to get a job are different to the skills to do a job.
Sure. But do you think career advice really works? We were discussing that a week or so ago because, I mean, one of the issues about careers is a lot of the jobs of the future don't even exist now. So it's sort of not easy for a careers advisor to predict, the types of things we might be doing and what is needed. But I have a theory that when you're young, you should just do different jobs because you might surprise yourself. You might find something that you quite like doing that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have strengths in accounting, but I hate it. So I've gone out and learned other skills, and I use those skills more regularly than my accounting skills. So, you can definitely do that. But I think the way work is going, in the past it was fancy job titles, fancy organisation names. Now we're moving to skills. So it's a case of each individual, your teenager included, of developing skills and then exploring those and trying different workplaces. And I haven't had a real job since 1994, so I get lots of variety from many different organisations.
Just on that, I'm with you on accountancy. I mean, I studied accounting at school and at university, and it was just assumed that I would become an accountant. But weirdly, even though I was quite good at it, I just had no desire to be one.
Yeah, and, originally you started holding the newspaper. Now you're in the newspaper.
Well,
so that's another
sometimes.
turn, isn't it?
All right, thank you for your time, Sue Elson there, career development practitioner. It is interesting, though. I mean, some people start doing something. It doesn't mean that's the job that they end up doing, but they learn something from it. Again, this chap, Paul Zeratis, who founded this financial firm called Ausbil Investment Management, he learnt his knowledge of markets, he says, by accompanying his father when the son was aged 6 to the fish market. And he learnt about how prices change and how markets work, and that helped him in later life.